Hello everybody, my name is Austin and welcome to whatever this video is, I guess. Sonic Sega Japan. Is there an English version? You can change the language up here, but it's still finicky and it doesn't completely change things around. Anyways, initially I was going to cover the history and see the good, the bad, and the ugly, if it matches up to, or if they've messed with it at all, or all sorts of things. World story. I didn't click on that. Oh, that's the... yeah, that's the history part. Okay. I haven't looked too much into that yet, because I wanted to wait till I was recording. But I was curious about looking at the characters and seeing if everyone truly is here. And it would appear that is not the case. So there's my first grievance with this. I don't know what this is going to be. We're just going to look over things and give my opinions. Sonic and Friends. Oh boy. I didn't know Supersonic counted as a friend, but okay. I don't know who you are. I know what game you're from. Same with you. I mean, I have suspicions about that character, but I've never played Free Riders, and I don't think Dream Team's available on anything outside of Apple, and like little to no one has Apple devices, so I don't know why they released it only on that, but whatever. Villains, bad guys, quite a few of them. Who's missing from this list? Well, I'm not seeing Dark Gaia, or Iblis, or Solaris, or... Chaos isn't... no, Chaos is there. Let's see. Let me run through them. Eggman is in, like, all the classic ones. And then... Chaos. BioLizard's not here! Gerald's not there. Huh. He's included in the friends. That's interesting, especially since Sonic's never interacted with him or Maria. I feel like they should have put other category. Yacker, really? Okay, sure. Xiao? The Xiao? Okay. Tips. What? Tips? Oh, he's tipsy. Oh no. Tips instead of eating ice cream, he drinks a little too much. It's Chip's cousin Tipsy. This is all in Japanese kanji. And there is something. These are the classic characters. There are a few certain characters missing from this lineup. Trip. I think I already knew that name. Oh, I should have... I mean, I'll put it at the beginning of the video for those that don't want spoilers, but me personally, I haven't played Superstars or Frontiers, so I don't know. I kind of give up at this point. I'm probably going to get spoiled no matter what, and I've already gotten spoiled to the biggest things, and I've said it in previous videos, especially concerning a certain character in Superstars. Just making sure the mouse was visible. I don't want to call people out. I don't want to be a douchebag. But someone on YouTube posted a character analysis or something of, I don't remember what the video was, of a certain character in Superstars. And they had their face blasted all over the thumbnail, all over the title. And the game hadn't even been out yet. It was like a week before the game came out when the video had... or at least when I had seen the video in my recommendation. That's partially on YouTube too. So it's not... I'm not completely blaming them. But at the same time, like, you still shouldn't do that. I try not to do that in games, even with older games. I try to be as spoiler-free as I possibly can, because you never know who in the future hasn't experienced those games and events and all that stuff, right? Like, I just got done finishing recording Mario Luigi Land 2, and I was keeping it tight-lipped. Oh, who's the final boss? Oh, you... Just because, I mean, I was kidding and joking about it, obviously. I was making myself aloof on purpose to play it up, ham it up. But at the same time, you still don't know who is going to see that content, and if it is going to be their first experience or not. And I am of the belief that they should experience it for themselves first and foremost, no matter what. I mean, it's their choice. I'm not going to just tell people, don't watch my videos. Go play it for yourself. Do whatever you want. But like, if you want the full, proper experience and the reveals and all that, it's better to experience it firsthand for yourself. That's my opinion. I try to do that as Emmy. I just realized that Emmy, not E. But anyways, yeah, and then I think I also saw that it had actually dropped like 2 weeks prior to the game release. Maybe the video that they were making. So it was definitely someone that got it ahead of time, which, I mean, I'm not gonna knock them for that. But you should still either keep it hush hush and say spoilers all over the stuff, or you wait at the bare minimum until the game is out. I'd say a week until the game is out, a month maybe even. Personally, a year. At the very least, a year. Like that's kind of the the line that's should be drawn is probably about a year, maybe. I don't know. I tried to do that with Shadow Generations too. Like, even my thumbnails, I wasn't gonna reveal anything until, like, maybe I'll adjust and alter my thumbnails a year after Shadow Generations has been out, just because I have cool ideas for thumbnails and it'd be fun to do. But I'm not gonna spoil people into stuff, unless it was kind of obvious, like the BioLizard. It seemed kind of obvious being a villain in the Shadow Generations. But then after that, everything else I kept hush hush. Because I don't want to spoil people. That'd be wrong. It'd be rude. It'd be mean. Anyways, point being, yeah, I just don't care anymore. And then there is one thing I was spoiled to in Frontiers as well. I don't even know if I want to say it. It involves Sonic and the DLC of Frontiers, I guess. And I was spoiled to it in a similar manner, but like the game at that point, I think the game had been out a couple weeks, and it was a YouTuber that I actually follow and think is a good Sonic content creator. And he had waited a few weeks. That was more so on the YouTube recommendations and all that. But anyways, yeah, I don't know. I don't even know when I'm gonna get around to playing it. I have them, I own them, I want to play them, but I also am like, I'm not really in the mood. I don't know if I want to, especially since I've heard mixed opinions on them. But at the same time, I bought them. It'd be a waste of money if I don't play them at some point in the future. And that's also why I did my voting video. That's not gotten too much traction. It's gotten a few views, and about one person liked one of the comments and did the thing, so it's one of those is most likely gonna happen out of the 3 questions. It involved Sonic CD, which version of CD they wanted to people wanted to see. One of those questions got a like, so. But the Sonic OVA movie and the 3rd question involving Superstars Frontiers, the Advance Trilogy, etc. It hasn't gotten any traction, so I don't know. If people want to see it, well, first and foremost, go check that out. I'll keep the voting running until the end of April. But if people have to let me know if they really want to see me play through it or not. Because I don't know. I don't know if I'm feeling it or not. All that aside, so yeah, going into this, I'm expecting spoilers for the history and how things are going to play out. I'm not going to be too worried. I'm gonna try to avoid them to my best ability, but like I'm not gonna be super if Superstars pops up and it's like, oh, here's where Superstars lines up in the timeline, I'm not gonna read the description, but I'm gonna be like, okay, cool, it's there. That's where they place it, I guess. I'll try to do something like that so that I try to remain spoiler free as possible, but I'm also like, I don't really care anymore. I think the biggest, most impactful things that I could have avoided were spoiled relatively soon, or before in Superstars' case, upon their releases. So, that being said, have you analyzed this, looked it through? There's quite a few characters missing from this list. This only seems to be Superstars first and foremost. Secondly, where's Mania? And then even beyond that, there are other classic characters. What about Espio, Charmy, and Vector? They were in classic games. Mighty Ray. I'm very worried for the timeline. I'm very worried for... I feel like Sega's trying to push them out of the way again, and that's kind of upsetting and saddening. Mostly saddening. I'm not like angry, throwing stuff around. Oh, you hate my... But it's... it was so cool when Mania brought them back. Initially, they were planning on having Amy and Metal Sonic be playable in Sonic Mania. They're even in the data, but then they were cut, I guess, and swapped out for Mighty and Ray. And then the reverse happened with Sonic Origins, where Mighty and Ray were planned, but then they swapped Amy and Metal Sonic in. And you can even find, you can find the sprites, I think, of Amy and Metal Sonic in Mania, but in Origins there aren't sprites of Mighty and Ray. But there's clearly something, like there's clearly character placeholders that aren't Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, or Amy in the game. There's two of them, one that's along the lines of Tails and one that's along the lines of Sonic, because Mighty is a speed character. Despite having super strength, he is a speed character. And then Ray was put into a light character playstyle, so he's fast, but not as fast as a speed character, Sonic and Mighty. And then they have higher jumps. And then Knuckles, being a power character, is slower than the speed and light characters. That's how it's always been in Sonic. Not 2, because I think Sonic and Tails are more or less the same, especially since Tails didn't have flight. So I guess Sonic 3 and Knuckles, ever since the introduction of Knuckles and then Tails and his flight capabilities and all that, that's been a thing. Then Mighty and Ray kind of just fit into those slots as well for Mania. Who else is missing? Yeah, her, I don't know who she is. I know she's from Frontiers, but I have no idea who the heck she is. Oh, you look like a sheep. It makes sense since you're involved in dreams, I guess. So yeah, there's a few characters missing. There's also Bean, the Dynamite, and Bark, the Polar Bear, which should be next to Fang, because they're all part of a gang, a group, in a similar vein to Sonic Heroes. Whoa, whoa. Why are the lines pointing at Knuckles and the Deadly Six? Is that specific? That's weird. Who else? Is there anyone else particularly missing? I don't know why the Babylon Rogues would be here either. They're not friends. I would say Shadow is more of a friend to Sonic than the Babylon Rogues. Like, they're constantly at odds with Sonic. But, like, and Shadow's at odds with Sonic all the time too, but it's kind of like... I don't know. I won't get too much into it. You definitely can tell there's a kinship there. But I guess they kind of did too. I can't speak for Free Riders either. I guess, especially because Zero Gravity It felt like they backtracked on the relationship between Sonic and the Babylon Rogues. Maybe? I don't know. It's been a while since I played those for their stories. Maybe I'm misremembering. And we gotta refresh the page. Because that... Alright, let's move on to the history. The main reason we're here. Oh, wait a minute. That's not... What? That's not right. Wait a minute. Oh, story. There we go. Okay. I would think that would be in the history too, but whatever. The prehistory! Destruction and regeneration by Dark Gaia and Light Gaia. At some point, Dark Gaia will... Oh, dang. Borby. Which grew over a million years and destroyed the Earth, and Light Gaia healed it, repeating the same history. That sounds weird because I thought it was every like 1,000 years. And it was sped up because Eggman goofed with things in Sonic Unleashed. But I thought it was still supposed to be every 1,000 years or something to that effect. They would have their battle over the planet. And I thought it was a battle too. Like, this makes it sound like Dark Gaia won, and it was only one interaction, but I'm pretty sure they've had multiple interactions. Ancients in the Chaos Emeralds. Ancients take refuge on Earth, but the Chaos Emeralds, a small number of their descendants, escape to a place called the Temple of the Master Emerald. Over the course of hundreds or thousands of years, the ancients become the Chao. Oh, interesting. Okay. Might be spoilers for Frontiers. Do the Chao have a big involvement in Frontiers? Okay. Dark Gaia's destruction of Earth, the earliest record. Earth is destroyed by a super energy life form called Dark Gaia. Emerged from the core of a star. What? Okay. That's new. This event was later recorded in the ancient documents known as the Gaia documents. Interesting. Just like Black Doom with the comet. Curious. Our ancestors see the Babylon bandits washed up on Earth. A spaceship from faraway space goes out of control. And the race that is the ancestor of the Babylon bandits... I'm guessing that's the Japanese version of the name. Babylon bandits. It doesn't sound as cool as the Rogues, but I like my alliteration, so that's I'm okay with it. Separated by the time and sky around the world, and later come to be called the Ark of the Stars. The extra time is unknown. Yes, I recall that from the writer's games. Thousands of years ago, the tribe attacks the Temple of the Master Emerald to seal it, but their child companions are sacrificed, and the Echidna tribe is wiped out by the enraged chaos. They weren't really sacrificed. The Echidna just attacked them. That wasn't sacrificing. That was just... Did they play Sonic Adventure 1? It's a lot more gruesome than just a sacrifice. Black Arms drop the flying temple on Griffith on Earth. I wonder if there is an English version. Maybe it's different because of the language. I don't think it is too different. Ancient civilization combat robots called Gizoids are created, one of which is later named Emerald. We know that for those that watched my Sonic battle playthrough back in the Dark Pact 50 years ago. Black Doom. It doesn't say it. Oh wait, it does say it. Okay. Context: Professor Jones offers up his own DNA exchange for guidance on how to invade Earth 50 years from now. As the shadows then created from that DNA. The Ark destruction incident of the ancient combat robots Gizoid that were subject to research from the Ark go out of control, causing extensive damage to the Ark facility. This is one of the reasons why Gun intervenes in the Ark. We know that from the Shadow Generations animations. And battle with Emerald briefly. He was killed in a sudden gun attack. Gerald, who lost his mind to his granddaughter's robbery. What? Okay, Professor Tigger jail, but on the Ark system in jail, but he's also in prison. Why on Shadow? What? That's not right. guess I did go back in the past for that. So, pause everything. Yeah, I don't know if there is another version of this. Ooh. A lot of these seem weird. So, where were we? Travel back in time and blow out the flames of Solaris, which is the beginning of the tragedy. As a result, the Solaris did not fail. The world was saved from Christ. The future became a peaceful world. However, this series of events has never happened in history. Yes, multiverse, parallel timelines, all that stuff. Those that don't know. King Soliana fails in his experiment with Solaris in order to calamity from being destroyed. His own life and seals Evelyn and wait, what? In his daughter Eris. Okay. Raid South Island. This? This is a bit tricky. And I already skimmed a little bit of the classic. And yeah, it's not here. Nor is... Wait, hold on. Nor is Knuckles Chaotix. They did not include a few games, which I was worried about. There is no Sega Sonic, and there is no Knuckles Chaotix, which are kind of big, important games in their own right. I mean, it's never clarified. I think it's just a theory that Sega Sonic was canonically the first game in the series. For a few reasons, and I talk about that in my playthrough of the game. In that, I believe it was stated to be Sonic's home, and then it is attacked by Dr. Robotnik, Eggman, and then Sonic is captured along with Mighty and Ray, and then they have to escape the island, and it just seems weird. It makes sense as Sonic's first encounter with Eggman because it would be weird for him to just suddenly get captured, right? Especially if he knows who Eggman is, like, what? It just seems... And then, by the end of it, the island blows up, and either you escape or everyone's dead. That's the two outcomes. I'm slightly kidding, but also not that, yeah, that's two canon possibilities, is the island blows up and everyone died or not. And I think, initially, with Sonic's inception, his home island was going to be Christmas Island, and I don't know if this is confirmed or just a theory, that the island in Sega Sonic was Christmas Island. And then, obviously, that's what kicks off his adventure and his constant fighting against Eggman. Especially because the rings had a lot more value in that game. Like, they were the source of his Sonic's power and all that. They were what were fueling Eggman's machines and all that. But then it makes sense that he switches gears for Sonic 1 and then he's kidnapping Flickies and all the other forest animals to fuel machines, and then CD tries plants, but then he moves back to animals for 2 and 3 and Knuckles, right? But then in Knuckles Chaotix, he, I believe, tries to do rings again? I haven't done a full playthrough of the game, but I vaguely know that and the Chaos Rings. Anyways, just... And I mean, it is just a theory. It just doesn't feel like Sega Sonic would be able to be placed anywhere else in the timeline. Because it's such a middle of the roads, middle of nowhere kind of game. But, and especially because, according to Sega, everything is canon. So where would they place it? But meanwhile, here we got Sonic Mania with Mighty and Ray, and then there's still no sign of Sega Sonic. Sonic fights off Dr. Eggman, who attacks the South Island to steal the Chaos Emerald, stop world domination. fateful encounter with Sonic on low planet. Enemy gets involved in Dr. Eggman's abilities and can Metal Sonic to beat Metal Sonic to rescue. Union crush Dr. Eggman's ambitions. They crash into Angel Island. That's a little early. Sonic and Tails work together to repel Dr. Mancy, attacks West Island, destroy Space Fortress, Death Egg crashes. Okay, yeah. I don't know why that'd be your headline. It's jumping the gun a little bit. It should be the creation of the Death Egg, and then it leads into the Death Egg crashing. Master Mode captured, prevents the resurrection of the Fortress Death Egg. Yeah, let's see. Ackerman tricks Knuckles into stealing Master Emerald and applying to That's not right. He doesn't trick Knuckles into stealing the Master Emerald. Knuckles is guarding it. Why would Knuckles need to steal the Master? What? Applying to resurrect the crazy. However, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles work together to destroy the Death Egg and thwart Dr. Eggman's ambitions across the world. Master Emerald was restored and Angel Island rose to the sky again. And another key thing that's not here. Fun fact, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but technically there are two stories in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. The Sonic route, and then the Knuckles route. The Knuckles route is actually the canonical sequel to Sonic 3 and Knuckles, because the events of Knuckles' journey happen after the effect, after Sonic saves the Master Emerald, and then there's an egg robo that tries to take it, Mecha Sonic Mach 2 is involved, and then he gets supercharged, and then Knuckles has to duel with him, and then he saves the Master Emerald for good and puts Mecha Sonic into the ground for good. A lot of people seem to forget that, or not know. I'm sure a lot of newer fans don't know about that, but it's weird that no one ever talks about that. But that was the intention of the Knuckles story from Sonic and Knuckles, and then Sonic 3 and Knuckles by extension, I guess. And yet it is also not here, which would then roll into Knuckles Chaotix properly. And then that would probably roll into Sonic Mania. Dr. Eggman enters a gem with a mysterious holographic enemy, powers of Sonic and Tails and into various worlds. After being repelled by Sonic and others, Eggman left his hands and disappeared across time and space into the world of modern Sonic. That's not right either. Eggman left his hands. He didn't. He in fact did not. It's not how that worked. The Phantom Ruby warped Sonic to the future, and then the future modern Eggman gets the Phantom Ruby. Classic Eggman wasn't sent across time and space at all. That's weird. After saving the world with modern Sonic and Sonic Forces, Sonic returned to the original time. As he chases the flying Phantom Ruby, he discovers Mighty and Ray, who have been captured. Sonic rescues two people, one of whom is a fake. He rescues his comrades and defeats the Dark Community, who's once again and the piece of the world was once again preserved. And this is also why she kind of includes Sega Sonic. They make it sound like he knows of Mighty and Ray in here, and I don't know. I don't think you could put it. I don't think you could put it after Knuckles Chaotix. I don't think I would place Sega Sonic after. It really wouldn't fit into anywhere between 2 and Mania because they're all consecutive events. Because I believe Mania takes place roughly after, if I recall from the manual and the story and stuff, it takes place either directly after the events of Sonic 3 and Knuckles, or relatively soon after, which wouldn't give room for Knuckles Chaotix, but I'm sure there is somewhere in there. Maybe with the discovery of the Chaos Rings, that is what led to the unearthing of the Phantom Ruby. And then Knuckles flags, sends out a message, and then Sonic and Tails hop on the plane, turn back, and fly back to Angel Island. Well, that was kind of the problem with Sonic CD, because its placement in the timeline was very debated too, especially when two different creators involved with CD had different placements of it. One person said that it did go here between Sonic 1 and 2, and then another said it came after Sonic 3 and Knuckles. And it could make sense in both regards. Like, the fact that Tails isn't on the journey is weird, so it wouldn't make sense for it to come after Sonic 2 and Sonic 3 and Knuckles. But then at the same time, why isn't Amy chasing Sonic around in Sonic 2, Sonic 3, and Knuckles? So those 2 points kind of contradict. And then the idea of, is Metal Sonic the first Sonic clone, or is he the last and perfected version? I've always been on the side that it fits here, especially because they are two different series, right? Metal Sonic is a separate series, and then the Mach section is a different series. The Mach 1, which is in Sonic 2, or it's sometimes called by fans as Silver Sonic. It is that and then Mach 2 are based around power, versus Metal Sonic was created for speed. He was meant to match Sonic in speed. So it could really go either way. But for the same reasons I just mentioned with Sega Sonic, it feels better to fit it right here, because it's just very consecutive after Sonic 2 in how things play out. And to that end, I don't really see anywhere else you could play Sega Sonic except for either in between CD and 1, CD and 2, or before Sonic 1. And then again, it would be weird if Sonic just gets captured out of nowhere and is held hostage. Because it seems very like they're like a very first interactions between the two characters, and then obviously his first interaction with Mighty and Ray. Yeah, Superstars makes sense. And then yes, I don't know if people know this, and I don't remember where I got this information from, but initially Sonic 4 was supposed to be a branching of the timelines. That's why they used Modern Sonic for the models instead of Classic Sonic, was because it was a transition period. It was a sequel to Sonic 3 and Knuckles, probably it's called Sonic 4, but it was also meant to be a prequel to Sonic Adventure, and I think that's kind of what they were building up for why they brought Metal back, and then they had other things in the machinations in the works, but because they did terribly, we never got our part 3, so it's kind of loose there. But yeah, that makes sense for it being here after Superstars, where obviously he's still younger, not 15 like he is in modern games. Say we're from so free chaos seals and the master on used to work on. However, chaos goes out of control and evolves into perfect and the world and the verge of I'll need to read some of these. Super stuff for games, like skimming maybe. Sonic Shuffle. Right, Sonic the Fighters wasn't here either. Where the hell? What other games are missing? And again, technically everything is canon. I think there are only a few instances where Sega says things are not canon, and that is obviously projects they were not involved in. So the Archie comic series and the Saturday morning cartoon series, those are not canon because Sega was not directly involved, which is what leads to Dark Brotherhood not being canon because legal issues, and Ken Penders, I believe, was trying to sue Sega for stealing his ideas to create the Dark Chronicles and stealing them from the Archie comics or something. I'm not going to point fingers or choose sides. That's just kind of the brief explanation for how that happened. And I have no idea if that's still happening all these years later or not. But that's why the Dark Brotherhood can't technically be considered canon, because it's in legal hell. And then I think the Boom trilogy is not canon. It's kind of on its own continuity. But maybe not, again, because multiverse is a thing it could be considered possibly canon. To that extent, that's probably why Prime can be considered canon. Sonic Prime that was on Netflix, or Sonic X, even though it's just basically anime rendition of the Advance trilogy-ish. Adventure and Advance trilogies, I guess. I had something on my mind. Adventure, Advance. Right. Oh, right. And then Sega actually was behind the creation of Sonic X. They allowed it and all that, you know, legal stuff. So, Sonic X could be considered canon, but on its own continuity, its own timeline. And then you got Sonic Shuffle here. This no-nonsense party game that's just there and that no one has any capable way of playing it as far as I know. Outside of emulation, I guess. The Awakening of Shadow. Sounds about... Where's Sonic Advance 1? I mean... I don't like Sonic Advance 1. I like Sonic Advance 2 and 3. But where is it? Wait, what? Sonic the Fighters, Sonic R. They would probably be... I'd probably place them... They would have to go before Superstars, because that's not Sonic's first interaction with Fang. And Fang is playable in both of those. Bark and Bean are in the Fighters. That's the only time. I think that's like the only game they're in, if I recall. And then there's the Flicky Island adventure. Sonic 3D Blast. Where the hell is that too? Oh my god, there's so many other games. The Game Gear games are, I guess, debatable. You could probably place them on a separate timeline because it's more or less the same adventure as the classic games, just slightly different. Like Sonic still runs through Green Hill Zone, but then there's also Bridge Zone, which isn't in the original Sonic 1. Triple Trouble and all that stuff. But Sonic Advance should be here. Knuckles Chaotix should be here. What the hell? You have Mania, so you acknowledge Mighty and Ray's existence, sorta. Therefore, Sega Sonic should be here. Ugh. What? Metal Sonic who has an ego? Okay, he's got ego. He's got attitude. Okay, sure. Shadow tries to use him to conquer the world, but is reversed by Shadow's he tries. That sounds weird, but I get what you're trying to say. Final stage whenever Shadow regains his true memories with the help of Emmy. He teamed up with Sonic and risks himself to save the world. He dies, but doesn't die because he's immortal, and all that shenanigans. Cream helps her along with his friends. They rescue Kidnapped Vanilla and defeat Dr. Man, who is applying to build Eggman Land again. Blah, 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 blah. He's always building his amusement parks. Shadow repels Black Doom's invasion of Earth. Emmer's growth and runaway. Emmer. Okay. Emerald. You forgot an L. Do I agree? Okay. Well, no. Wait. Right. Hold on. Breath of Ziemel. Is that Sonic Advance 3? Okay. So that's sort of right. I don't know. I don't remember what the placement it is. Although, because, and I think we established this when I played Sonic Battle, it makes more sense for it to be after Shadow's game because he has his memories back. He knows of Emerald, so that makes sense, I guess. I was trying to remember. My brain wasn't working. I was like, I know there's something specific. It took me a little while to remember what that was. Okay. Develop based on Emerald, but the Princess of... Really? We jump into the Rush games after that? Wait. Blaze regained the Soul Emerald and returned to his own world. Blaze is a dude? Wait, what? Okay. What about the sequel to Rush? There? I haven't played the Rush duology, so I don't know if that's correct or not, but that seems weird that 06 would be in between them. And I don't know if that's a different Blaze from the one that dies or not in 06. I don't... That doesn't feel right. I feel like Rush should either be after 06 and kind of like a shadow deal, like we think she dies, but then she doesn't, but maybe she lost her memories, and that's why she doesn't recognize Sonic or something. Or they would take place before, especially because 06 did kind of a good job of making sure they didn't interact, if I recall. Sonic and Blaze never actually interact. Mephiles mentions a blue hedgehog, and Blaze is like, a blue hedgehog? But that's like the... And then she's not really clear on if it's Sonic or not, right? We don't know if it's... she has her suspicions, but it's never clearly stated that they know each other, or if she does recognize that or not. Riders, I have no idea where you would place those, but sure. I guess that makes sense after 06. Forces Gaia to awaken. Yeah, we talked about that. Dark Gaia split this. Still super split the star into 7 pieces. What? That's the planet. That's not a star. Is that what they mean back here too? Wait, what? Where was that? Life form that originated in the core of the star. What do you mean? Do you mean the planet, which is completely different from a star? Wait. What? You're making things confusing. Wait a minute. Is that what you meant? I'm so confused now. You're... Friendship with alien wisps. Yeah, that makes sense. Colors after Unleashed. Yes. Sonic Generations and Shadow Generations. Leading Darkness and Light. Yeah. Stream Gear World Championship will be held in the Kingdom of Hawaii. Okay. Free Riders. Didn't play. 6 Demons Betray Dr. Eggman. Yes, I played Lost World. I know of that. What? Game Jadonga holds a car race. Okay. But isn't... Wait, no. Oh, wait. Oh, okay. So the one King dude isn't from Free Riders. He's from the All-Stars Racing or the Heroes Racing game, whatever that one's called, maybe? Something to that effect. One of the car racing games rather than the board racing games, I guess. Forces is here. Okay. So Sonic and Boom Trilogy isn't present so far. Frontiers. 200 years later. Okay, so that's Silver's future. Okay. So yeah, it's very mismatched. My own complaints of the lack of CERN games aside, there's a couple things here and there, such as the lack of Sonic Advance that's kind of... I mean, it doesn't contribute, I guess, into the overall stuff. It's just Eggman up to his old antics. But you should still, if you're including the sequels, it doesn't make sense to not include the first one. That'd be like saying, oh, we're gonna have Sonic 2, but not Sonic 1 on this time. It's weird. even if its story isn't important, Sonic Spinball Party's not here. Or I don't think the other pinball one counts, maybe, because it isn't. No, Dr. Eggman's Mean Bean Machine's involved with the Saturday morning cartoons. Is the other pinball one? I can't remember. I feel like it might be. Yeah, there's a few games missing that are actually kind of relevant. And then where was it? One of the placements, Blaze's placement felt weird with the Rush games in 06. The lack of... They only list Sonic and Knuckles. They don't list Sonic 3 and Knuckles. But I mean, that is one big adventure. It just... Yeah, I mean, Mighty and Ray get mentioned, even though they're not on the roster of friendship. They should be here, or at the very least in the classic section. So yeah, I don't know. And I don't know who is behind this. Is it Sega? Is it Ian Flynn? And I know Ian Flynn's kind of been... Not to point fingers or throw shade at him or anything. I've liked some work he's done, like the IDW comics I've enjoyed reading, but like, it seems like some of the placements with some of the games have been weird, and and it seems kind of like this. Like, I think he placed Sega Sonic either right before or after Minu, which is even more weird, which would mean, if it was before me, it'd come after 3 Knuckles, but again, there wouldn't be room for it there. Like, it just, I don't know, I haven't agreed with some of his ideas, and especially because it seems like he's really homing in on Green Hill needs to be Sonic's home, where he has a house and lives and all that. But that's never been the case with Sonic. Even if we ignore the prototype Christmas Island was supposed to be Sonic's home, or even if that was the island of Sega Sonic and it blew up and he doesn't have a home now, or like, that's kind of the idea with Sonic himself. He's a free spirit. He doesn't have roots to put down. He doesn't live anywhere because the world is his home. He lives anywhere and everywhere he wants. Tails has a home in Sonic Battle in whatever town that's called. And I believe he's also tried to put Tails and the other characters and say, oh, they live in Green Hill Zone too, which is weird. But what? I don't know. Especially since Tails has an established home, and Knuckles lives on Angel Island, but I don't think he's really tried to. It's mostly Tails, Sonic, and Amy. I think he's done that with. I don't know. I don't know. Badass. Wait, whoa, okay. I got the thumbnail. It's the badasses. It's the badasses. Get ready for them. Oh God, they're so badass. Especially Metal Sonic Beware. He's such a badass. Oh, or by the Cubot, they're even more badass than Metal Sonic. Popular name. What? What do you mean popular name? Oh, they mentioned his shield from Adventure 2. Cool. Good. Feature. Constantly improving, yes. And that is another key feature of the quote-unquote Metal line, even though Metal Sonic was the only one in that line. Although, I guess you could throw in Metal Knuckles into that lineup as well. Is the Metals evolve and adapt, which is why in Heroes, spoiler alert, he eventually grows and his AI adapts and he imprisons Eggman, and then he's taking over the world, and all sorts of hullabaloo happens. versus the mechas. They don't really grow or adapt, I believe. Although, again, Mach 2 goes super. I don't know. Here's Team Racing Generations. Oh. Forgot a couple games. Persona 4. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who's behind this, and if it is Sega themselves, or if they did involve Ian Flynn. If they did involve Ian Flynn, then it's even more weird. Because there's more inaccuracies. I don't know. It's all kinds of weird. I don't know. Grain of salt, I guess. I don't know if I would call this the timeline or not. I also was initially, was going to start the video with that. I initially was going to make my own video, and I was going to do that too. I was going to compare what some people think the timeline should be versus my own thoughts of placements with games and all that. I mean, I kind of did that here, but if you still want to see a video like that, let me know in the comments, I guess. I'd be happy to still do it, and I kind of did that with Shadows video. I did for fun, kicks and giggles, the Robotnik family, extended family, something to that effect, I call it, I can't remember. And it got some traction, a lot of people liked it. I mean, not too many, 2 people liked it. But it made me happy that people watched it and that some people liked it. Some people disliked it, but as long as I made some people happy, and as long as some people enjoyed it, I don't care if people disliked it or not. That's why I'm here, to make people happy, to have fun, make people laugh and all that. So, and that was just kind of a fun little side project that I thought of and wanted to do. Tailored to Shadow, especially since we were amidst the Shadow generations and close to finishing up. But I was also ready to do an actual Sonic timeline, if people were interested in that. So, let me know your thoughts on that. Do you agree with my points, or do you disagree? I mean, I can't complain too much. For the most part, it's solid. There's just a few hiccups here and there. If people want the gist, it's decent. But it's kind of like a Wikipedia, in that I mean, it's not subject to being changed by random people, I guess, so it's more accurate than a Wikipedia, but it's also still all over the place. Translation function, web accessibility box. Doesn't seem like anyone can waltz in and change stuff. Because that's why I don't trust Wikipedia. It's like, anyone can go in and change the information on those websites. It's open access to anyone. So I guess this is a little more credible than a Wikipedia, but at the same time, there's a few things here and there that are hit and miss. So I wouldn't hold it to oath. I wouldn't call it the Sonic Bible or something. I don't know. My brain's a little bleh too, because I'm not feeling well. I don't know. It's not horrible. It's not bad. I just have a few complaints here and there, and I would like them to take them into consideration and figure in some of the other games in the franchise. I do believe they mentioned the Dark Brotherhood somewhere. History. Right, it was here. Only because they listed it at its release date. Oh, there is something missing from here too, I think. Oh yeah, there's the Boom Trilogy, 2 of them. Moon Island Adventure, okay. Ancient treasure. There's the third one, okay. Fire and Ice. Runners. They even have the mobile games, which are whatever. Yeah, Team Sonic Racing. Is that the one the one guy's from? They didn't list the storybook trilogy duology. It was intended kind of like the Sonic 4. It was intended to be a trilogy, but 1 and 2 did so bad. Even if the second games did a lot better, like I like Sonic 4 Part 2. I thought it was pretty good, and it's kind of fun to go back. And it's fun to go back to once in a while, but
obviously it still has some flaws.
to which it'd be cool if they remade them and finally gave us the Part 3. And I say the same about the storybook trilogy. It would be nice to see, frankly, even some of their worst games, like Sonic 06. Everyone hates on that. And at this point, most people, I think, hate on it just because it's fun and funny. But I see the potential in it. And that's why I really wanted to do Project 06 and involve that in my Saga of Shadow videos. And I'm gonna wait to cover the rest of it until Project 06 is done. It's a fan-made remake for those that don't know. Oh, look, they list the collection bundles here. It's Pinball Party. Yeah. Metal Sonic's in that as well. I can't remember if he's the main villain or if he's the second to last final boss. Never beat him. Yeah, that'd be pretty good. Wait, remake? Sonic Champions. Gee. Okay. Sonic the Fighters. Labyrinth. Yeah. Tails Adventure. That fits somewhere as well. And Sky Patrol. I forgot where. Timeline. Knuckles Chaotix. 2s. Game Gear. Spinball. Was I combining the names, calling it Sonic Spinball Party? I meant... Where is it? I meant this. It's just called Pinball Party. Okay, that's my bad if I was doing that. I'm terribly sorry for mixing the two pinball games. But I was trying to remember what the name... Oh, what was the name of that other pinball one? It was Sonic Pinball. I'm an idiot. Sega Sonic's not listed here either. Although, to be fair, I guess it also kind of is in that limbo like the Dark Brotherhood. And that's why emulating it's probably not a good thing to do. And why I was risking a lot by doing that because of legal things. But I want to ensure people saw it and knew of its existence more than... and delve deep into it and all that stuff when I did Mighty Mania May 2 last year, which this just motivates me to do Mighty Mania 3 even bigger, even harder, faster, stronger than last year. I'm going all out. We're going ham with that. Because the point of me starting Mighty Mania was because I loved Mighty in Sonic, not Origins, Mania. I loved his character. I had so much fun with it. I loved him in the animations. And then he's got a simple description in that he's a pacifist, but he's still ready to throw down if anyone threatens his friends. And you could see that in the animation, how like he can throw his weight around, but he doesn't mean to sometimes. But then when Ray's threatened, he throws down with Metal Sonic, my other favorite character, and it was just cool. He's like the reverse of Shadow in personality, colors. He's red and black. Shadow's black and red. It's just, I really like Mighty, and I want Sega to include him in more things. Damn it, I don't want him to go into Forgotten Land again, just pushed to the sidelines and Mighty who? This was an opportunity of a lifetime that Christian Whitehead did, and I am so happy they did that for Mighty and Ray. And that is why I started the Mighty Mania series. That's frankly why I started my channel, because my first videos were playing as Mighty in Sonic Mania, and then Mighty Mania 2 was a more developed version of that. And from here on out, that's kind of what Mighty Mania is going to be. Even if we stop doing Sonic games, even if I stop doing Mighty games, because eventually we'll run out, right? There's only so much stuff I can do involving Mighty and or Ray. At some point that, well, will dry up. But the idea behind it, and that I want to push going forward, is a... what's it called? Not entourage. No, that's not the right word either. Tribute, that's not right, but closer. It's a... oh, what's it called? Oh, it's a not tribute, damn it! Oh, I had the word in my head earlier. No. Just a tribute. Appreciation, closer but not quite. Come on, Bray, you got this. Underappreciated. Yes, but still not quite. Awareness. Closer, but still not the right word. Oh, okay, I'll roll with that. It's kind of an awareness thing. It's not... I don't want to use that word, but it's a... Ah, dang it. Let me see. Synonym for awareness. Whenever my brain's stupid, this is what I do. I just Google synonym for... No, none of those. It's none of those. It's not... Ah! It's not awareness, but it is. It is, but it isn't. It's kind of a tribute, but it also isn't that. It's a... I think it starts with a U. It's a... maybe not. And... something. I don't know. Okay, I'll just roll with it. It's an awareness month celebration to give characters in video gaming that underappreciated. There we go. That's the right word. It's a Mighty Mania May's focus is to give underappreciated video game characters the attention that they deserve, that they should have, because. And to be fair, a lot of companies, Sonic included, Mario, they have too many characters, and to that extent, I get why they can't include every single character in all their games. Why Rosalina's not in the latest Mario game, but Daisy is. It's fine. I love Rosalina, but honestly, Daisy deserves attention. She's so unappreciated. But it's a way to give appreciation to the characters that should get some more time in their franchises, such as Mighty and Ray or Daisy, Waluigi. I'm definitely going hard and focusing a lot on Waluigi in one of these future Mighty Manias. There's a fan game I've had download for a while. There's a couple other things I have in store and in mind for Waluigi. God, I can't think of other things off the top of my head. Those are just the big ones. I'm not gonna waste too much time to think about it. You get the gist, I think. Right? That's what I want to strive to do with Mighty Mania May, is to give characters the love that they should have, especially because a lot of people like these characters. They should be in more things, even if they're just obviously you want more in-depth stuff with them, rather than just being a clone, but at the same time, it is kind of acceptable because people just want to see their favorite characters at some point, right? Oh. So, anyways, yeah. If you have any suggestions, feel free to throw them out there. I'd be happy to cover literally any character from any video game franchise ever. That, even if it's a video game franchise in itself, that's underappreciated. Bubsy. I dread saying that name because I know how infamous those games are. But that's an example. If people want to see me play Bubsy and pull my hair out, I can do that. I will probably use save states, but I'll do it. I would literally I can't get my brain put all over the place. I am willing to play literally anything and everything. I am open to any suggestions. That's what my channel is about. I have all these celebrations and stuff, but at the end of the day, that's what I want to do with my channel. I want to be able to do anything I want, and I want to be able to give as much as I can to people. I need to wrap this up. My brain's so fried. Alright, so I think you get the gist. Feel free to leave comments and throw suggestions out. I'd be happy to play literally anything. Nothing is off the table. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts on everything I said in the comments below. And with that said, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely day and evening. Until next time, whatever it is that you do, I hope to see you then. And I hope you are looking forward to Mighty Media May 3. It's not just going to be Mighty and Ray this year. I have a lot of special things in store. They're the headliners, obviously, but there's a few other characters that might make appearances. So, until then, or whatever it is I may do, farewell!